So welcome back everybody, my name's Andrew and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. And on this channel we cover anything that is just our country lifestyle related. So one big issue that we have living out here, well, in the middle of nowhere is lack of internet. We have no provided internet to our homes, period. So a quick recap and then let's dive right into this. I have a lot of information to share in this video. So I signed up for Starlink, well, probably a year and a half ago at this point, got 4 different delay notices, never could get it here. So like a lot of people, I work from home, I was desperate, needed internet, and started looking at other available options. So thanks to a viewer, I stumbled across cellular internet and more importantly, different types of routers that are available. This isn't hotspot, this isn't those little hotspot devices or hotspot off your phone. And based on the hundreds of thousands of views and 1,000, 2,000 comments we've got on this video series thus far, a lot of y'all had no idea about these devices just like I didn't. So we're not going to talk about all of the testing that we've done up to this point and what led us to get here because there's so many videos already on that. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll leave a few at the end of this video and I'll also put some down in the description in case you're watching on Facebook. But you need to go back and watch those videos if you want to see how we got to the point that we currently have internet. Okay, so if you're new to the world of cellular routers right here, basically these things are on steroids. Again, this isn't your little hockey puck, as I keep calling them, those little tiny hotspot devices that you typically get from your big national carriers, or just taking a cell phone, turning a hotspot on it and hooking your computer, tablet, whatever else up to it. Those have very weak reception, usually output, very weak Wi-Fi on some of the little devices. They're just really not up to the task of providing whole home internet. So I've already tested a couple routers up to this point and seen huge improvements over the hotspot over cell phone that I used to use. I'm talking, I used to get like 1 to 3 megs down. Now I'm getting in the 40s, sometimes 50, sometimes 30s megabits a second down. So just night and day difference going to a cellular router. And up until this point, FYI y'all, I have bought and paid for everything out of pocket. I haven't got big checks from these companies or anything like that. I'm already over $1,000 invested into this series, testing different things and getting y'all information out. And because it's been so popular, I want to keep it going. Well, that's the whole point of starting a YouTube channel, correct? And because this series has been so popular, I have had tons of companies reach out to me and offer for me to test products, test plans. And up until this point, again, I've paid for everything. Now I have started accepting stuff to test so I can get you more information. I can't afford to keep buying router after router, antenna set after antenna set, just to keep doing some testing. So disclaimer, these routers were sent to me by a company called NetBuddy. They have a third one on the way to me. I'm not sure if it's going to make it in time for this video, so we may do a follow-up video. So here's what really caught my eye with NetBuddy. I'm on their website right now. They offer Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T data plans, depending on what's available in your area. And here's the kicker. Typically, data-only plans can be a bit pricey. Their plans, which work with their routers, you'll have to contact them if you have a different type of router. Their plans very well may work with a router that you already own. I don't know all that information, but I'm going to put their link down in the video description. But their Verizon plan is $70 a month for home internet on any of their devices. And it says unlimited, use as much as you'd like. Is there some soft caps or streaming caps in there? Very well may be. Here's the cool thing. I've already been testing these things for a couple of weeks. That's why it takes so long for me to get these videos out to you because, well, I'm not just going to test it one day and say, sure, I recommend buying it. I've already been doing some tests. So far, I've experienced no caps. And it says unlimited on their website. They have an AT&T plan, same exact price, $69.99 a month. It says 100% unlimited. That is awesome. That is really awesome. Now here's where the kicker really is. T-Mobile, if you happen to have that in their area, I'm noticing they're doing rapid expansion across the United States. $39.99 a month. It says services unlimited, use as much data as you like. $40 a month. Man, fingers crossed you have T-Mobile where you're at. That is a killer deal for home internet. So what you typically do for something like NetBuddy right here is purchase one of their devices, and they have more than this, by the way. So you activate your service, they send it out, you're ready to go. You receive it in the mail, you kind of do a quick little setup, and here's your router broadcasting out home internet. So this here is kind of their flagship router. This is their in-house model. A lot of y'all are familiar with the Mophie 5500. Mophie is a company that makes very popular and very well-known cellular routers. So they make really good equipment. A lot of people are very familiar with the name. Well, if you look at the specs on their in-house 5G router right here, it seems very comparable to the Mophie 5500. Actually, that's what they say on their website, but it's for a cheaper price. Now, something a lot of y'all need to know, this is 5G compatible right here, but it will convert down to 4G, which is what the majority of us are going to have in rural areas. 5G, don't be fooled by all the hype that you're seeing right now on the commercials. You've almost got to be line of sight. You got to be very close to a tower or a repeater or something like that to get 5G, but not saying you don't have it available where you're at. But the good news is if you don't, this steps down to 4G LTE. And let me assure you, people think that's old technology. 4G LTE is farther reaching than 5G is, without a doubt. It goes much further, and depending on your situation, your tower, your congestion, so your results are going to possibly be different than mine. Understand that. But 4G can actually be extremely fast. I'm talking Starlink speeds and up, depending on your situation. I've used just one of these routers, went near a tower before and got like, I think it was 125 or 150 megs down. Some of y'all have seen even higher than that. I've seen some people get 200 plus. I can tell you, once you start getting above 20 megs down, for me, for light streaming and doing homework and things like that, I find it adequate. Of course, always the faster you get, the better. So the way these devices work, you put a cellular SIM in this. Again, it already comes set up, and you're noticing all these antennas. This is the beauty of these systems and why they work so much better than hotspot on a phone or a little hotspot device. So on this side, you've got your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is a very fast Wi-Fi. On this side, you have your 2.4, which we're all familiar with. This is what broadcasts your wireless signal out in the home. 2.4 is typically a little slower Wi-Fi connection, but it's farther reaching again, kind of like that 5G to 4G cellular internet. 2.4 is going to penetrate walls better, maybe go out into your yard, things like that. And you'll notice all these antennas on the back. This is, again, why these products shine. These are your cellular antennas actually picking up the cellular signal. And you'll notice there's 4 back here on this device. Up until this point, all the routers we've tested have been 2x2. This one can connect to 4x4 external antennas, or you can just use it set up as is. So this has a greater capability of picking up the cellular signal that's bouncing all around. Now this plugs into a 110 and it's ready to go like this. You could put this in an RV, a boat, your house, doesn't matter. Now it's broadcasting out your Wi-Fi everywhere. It also has your LAN and Ethernet ports back here, so you can go to switch gear, you can plug directly into it via Ethernet cable, all kinds of stuff. So this is a Wi-Fi and cellular router all in one. Now, if you're looking for a cheaper device, they offer the Kelley right here. Definitely feels a lot more lightweight. Kelley's also another very popular brand, but they're known for not making as good a quality as, say, the Mophies or something like this, especially if you look at the specs on NetBuddy's in-house 5G router. So this router is 4G only. If you know that's all you have, this may be an option. You'll notice it has less antennas. My gut's gonna be, it's nowhere near as strong of Wi-Fi, has less antennas for the Wi-Fi as well. Does come with Ethernet ports on the back, and it's a very similar setup. Now, because the series has been so popular, y'all have noticed that the beauty of these is these antennas right here, cellular antennas, unscrew, and you can go outside and mount external amplified antennas. I have seen huge increases on these sitting on the counter like this versus them actually run outside to a mast and hook up to these. So for the people that are in really rural areas or far away from a tower, or have lots of vegetation and things in the way like us, so you receive poor signal at your home, external amplified antennas is a game changer. It completely changes the signal that you can receive and send out for upload on devices like this. All right, that's enough talking. I'll let y'all know that I've already been testing these for a couple of weeks. Here's the way I ran my test. So I have used a Verizon SIM. By the way, Verizon is not compatible in their 5G device. Only T-Mobile and AT&T is. The Kelley will work Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T. So here's the shocker. After running all these tests, I'm in an area that's known to not have T-Mobile. Verizon is the main carrier here. AT&T slowly started moving in, but after testing all three carriers, believe it or not, T-Mobile is kicking butt on these routers. I'm seeing excellent speeds, and I haven't even hooked these up to external antennas. So if I go on T-Mobile's website, for example, and type in my address, guess what? It says service not available here. But if you go to T-Mobile's map, it shows I'm completely covered by 4G LTE, and it even shows 5G literally on the backside of our property. Although again, keep in mind whenever it comes to 5G, sometimes, well, they say you have it, you don't necessarily have it. So look at the coverage maps to decide what you think is going to be the best coverage for your area. And I will put a couple of websites and apps down in the description. One's called Opensignal. I'll put them down there. I use that on my phone to locate a tower and get directions and bearings on it, see who services it. Another website that you can go on your computer is called Cellmapper.net. And you got to keep in mind there's a drop down menu on the top left. You have to search United States. Then you have to physically go pick your carrier like T-Mobile, AT&T, and it'll show a map. You can go into your location, see all the towers around you. Plus, here's something I've learned throughout this process. Just because you have a tower, I have a Verizon tower 1 mile from me. Well, guess what? It's a directional tower. It's not aimed in my direction at all. I get horrible cell signal here in the house. I had to put a antenna booster in, a cell phone booster, just to get good call quality here. So just because you can see a tower doesn't mean that it's actually pointed in your direction. Turns out we're being serviced by an AT&T tower that's several miles away, and I'm just now seeing, after going on T-Mobile's website, that, well, back this direction, I'm seeing some T-Mobile coverage. Okay, so I just ran a speed test. This is on my home cellular internet that I have now that is also hooked up to external amplified antennas. And that's pretty good speeds. 47 down, 13 up. There's my latencies, which actually look really good too for cellular internet. But this is being boosted by high gain antennas. So to keep from making this video an hour long, because there's just so much we could talk about, I've already did all the testing. I've wrote down all the numbers from all the different carriers with the different devices, and T-Mobile is kicking butt. Verizon, even though the tower's 1 mile away, doing by far the worst for me. I'm talking 0.4 megs download. That's atrocious. That's horrible. Upload was pretty good though. AT&T did decent. T-Mobile, man, it did really, really good. All right, so here we are up in my attic. I've just chose to run with this particular device right here. Again, to keep from making the video so long. Plus, it's just got all the better hardware and features on the inside. This is the one that I should continue to run. So currently outside, I have what's called a 2x2 antenna setup. It's 2 of those antennas that you just seen me show downstairs. Those are by waveform. Now this particular device has 4 antenna hookups. So I want to show people that just because this has 4 antenna hookups doesn't mean you have to have a 4x4 antenna set up on the outside, although that's even better. But if you're like me and already have a 2x2 setup, what you can do is remove 2 of the removable antennas off the backside, hook up an external amplified antenna, and you can still leave 2 more connected. These do work in conjunction with each other. All right, so I didn't hit record quick enough. We'll run it again. Look at the difference, y'all. Just by adding 2 antennas, download 74. That's the best I've ever got. Look at the upload, 30 megabits a second. That is so exciting for me because I do live streams. So I upload on YouTube and Facebook all the time. Look at those numbers. And that's by only amplifying with 2 antennas. And that is set up to do 4. Okay, so I did that test because I know a lot of you have already purchased the Waveform 2x2 antenna set. And I wanted to show y'all that you can go ahead and see a major improvement if you happen to upgrade to a 4x4 router. Now here's the kicker. You can add 2 more antennas and plug in to have 4x4, or Waveform sells a 4x4 kit. So you can do one or the other. By the way, we're also going to be testing panel antennas. That's the big single one versus your higher gain, much more directional antennas here. A lot of people seem to have had better luck with panel antennas. Y'all been requesting for me to test that. We have another episode coming up doing the different types of antennas, both by Waveform. And I do want to thank Waveform. They sent these out for me to do this test for y'all, and I did not have to pay out of pocket. Although the Waveform antennas that I currently have on the house, I did purchase and pay for those out of pocket off of Amazon. All this stuff will be down in the description. All right, so I will say one thing that I have learned when installing these antennas: go ahead and get all your parts out, your clamps, your poles, and go ahead and put both of your antennas per pole on down here in the shade. Don't get up on a ladder or a lift like I do, baking in the sun, putting them together. It's so much more quick and convenient to assemble everything loosely down here, get up there, install your mount to the house, put this in, and then you're only putting one bolt in, then we can do our adjustments there. All right, so as you can see, I'm currently up at the peak of my roof where I have my current 2x2 setup. 2 antennas here, and I'm about to install, basically doubling this system up, running extra cables inside, giving me a true 4x4 system for greater signal receiving and sending. Now these antennas are below the roof because we was doing some experimenting in the last video. I'm about to mount everything back up above the peak of the roof and start with that on my setups. So this process takes quite a while. I'm going to save y'all the headache of that. Go ahead and pop everything up and show you what I've done. All right, so y'all can see I've already got my antennas set up and I've got them aimed the same exact direction that the last antennas were. And I know that is for AT&T, but because we did a 2 antenna speed test, I wanted to get these going the same direction, and we'll do a 4 antenna speed test to see if we've seen a difference. Also, big shout out to Waveform again. They contacted me after seeing the video. I bought their original antennas, and they thanked me for the video. Hey, that's awesome of them. And I asked them would they be willing to send out a 4x4 antenna setup. They said yeah. So the kit that they sent me, it's just the heavy duty cable. Everything's such good quality, especially compared to the cable that I've ran on cell boosters. And I've had a lot of y'all ask what cable comes with the kit. It is RS240 cable, and you can see for the 4x4 antenna setup, it's nice and bundled. This is a much bigger cable to have to work with through my attic, but that's okay. We got a 4x4 antenna set up here. Their package also includes all kinds of different connections, because not all routers are the same. So the connections that's on the end of that wire, they're already set up to fit my particular router, but they may not fit yours, but they already include all that in the package too. So I thought that was awesome. Everything was just so well built and so well packaged. Okay, so it is now next day. I had a freak accident yesterday that did not allow me to run this quick test for you. Y'all, look at these speeds. Let's run it again so you can see it's legit. So this is the antenna pointed in the wrong direction, by the way. This is pointed toward an AT&T tower, but now this is 4x4 MIMO instead of 2x2 antennas. Look at the speeds we're getting. So download improved, definitely. Not a dramatic amount, but oh my gosh, I am already so happy with those speeds. Y'all, look at upload. Look at what's going on with upload. I know a lot of people that have cable connections, direct wired internet, and cannot get upload anywhere near this fast. Maybe you do Zoom calls for work, Microsoft Teams, all that. A 60 megabits a second upload, latency right here, all that is awesome. Maybe you do gaming and you're looking for upload. That is some of the best upload I have personally came across. Now, if you have fiber internet or anything like that, sure, you can beat those numbers. That is insanely fast. Now I can upload social media content, videos to YouTube and Facebook super fast, and my live streaming is going to be dramatically improved with those type of speeds right there. Wow, what a difference the antennas make. Okay, so as you can see, I'm back up at the antennas now, and I have everything kind of just loosely connected. So I'm already blown away with the results that we're getting, especially that upload. Oh man, I'm so excited. That's better than I could have ever imagined, unless I had like a true fiber or a hardwired connection. So I used a program called Cellmapper.net. You can look it up on your computer. I'll put a link down in the description. And I typed in United States and searched for T-Mobile towers. Then a map comes up. You can scroll to your house, zoom out, and it'll show little dots everywhere. You can actually click on those dots, which are towers, and see which direction they're actually aimed and pointing, because your closest tower might not be your best tower. So it just so happens that I know my Verizon tower, at least I keep calling it a Verizon tower, that's 1 mile this way, apparently also services T-Mobile, because T-Mobile shows up on that same tower. I don't know if they're allowed to hang some equipment there and and maybe they rent space on a tower. I have no idea how all that works, but that's showing as the closest one. And then many miles away, I'm talking 10+ miles away over here, there's also other towers showing up. And keep in mind, 4G can work much further than that. That's why it's such long reaching, and you're probably gonna wind up with 4G. You're probably not gonna wind up with 5G, or you're not truly rural unless you just happen to get very lucky and a tower's put up very close to you. So what I'm gonna do now is aim all 4 of these directional antennas. They all have to be pointed toward the same tower. This is where you really need to be dedicated. You really need to spend some time. The manual says it can take you a couple hours to dial this in, and they're not kidding. Literally a 1/2 inch of adjustment can make a big difference. So here's the other very important thing to take note here. Just because the tower is this specific direction, that's where I'm going to start, but that may not be where I get my best signal. As you can see, I've got buildings around here. We have miles and miles of mature trees everywhere here in Florida. That's mainly all we have, is vegetation everywhere. So that signal can actually be disrupted, bouncing and coming from different directions. So because the signal's deflected, you could find an area that's not directly at the tower that's giving you even better signal because of that reflection. So that's why you really need to take the time. Not only do I want to adjust these antennas up and down toward the horizon, we want to go left and right as well. Spend your time doing this. Now there's a couple ways that you can do this as far as knowing if your setting is upright, knowing if you're dialed in where you need to be. You can have a phone with you, a laptop, you can go back and forth inside. Actually, I recommend getting away from these, not having these powered up, because I don't know what they're emitting right now. And move all your equipment out of the way whenever you go do your test, your signal test and speed test, because you don't want any of this equipment, like all this metal, to really be interfering with this as well. So probably the best way to test your signal strength, most people think, hey, I'll just stay hooked up to Wi-Fi and run a bunch of speed tests. That's one way to tell if you're getting dialed in or not, but that's not a very reliable way. If you'll actually log into your router's IP settings, all those come with an IP address and, usually a default password, so you can log in and make specific changes inside your router. There's usually a section that has signal strength, RSRQ, SNR, signal noise. They have all kinds of settings. To be honest with you, I don't even know the majority of them. But here's the kicker. You need to do some quick research, find the settings that you're going to watch. As you move this tower, refresh that screen, see did your settings improve or get worse, so you can know which way to kind of move your antennas. But a lot of those settings, actually, the lower the number, the better the signal. Some, the higher the number. That's why you need to take a few minutes on Google, type those settings in right there, or those abbreviations, learn what's a good range, and then go make adjustments. Okay, so I made some adjustments outside, and I'll be honest with you, I was more focused on improving upload. That is so important to me with my social media. And this is already such an amazing number for me. I can stream any kind of content and multiple devices I want on that number easily. But I wanted to see if I could get this up anymore, even though that's already better than I could ever ask for. All right, so let's run another test and see what we're getting. All right, so upload, still looking awesome in the 70s. Download, excuse me. Let's see what this upload looks like. Go, baby, go. Oh, wow, look at this, y'all. We're in the 70s, 75, 76. Oh, my goodness. Bump 80. Do it. 80, y'all. Oh, wow. All right, so check this out. With some minor adjustments on the antennas, 72 down. Oh man, I could live with that all day long. 81 up. I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined. I would have figured if I could have got to 15 up consistently, I'd be happy. And let me tell you what this means. I can probably upload a YouTube video in just a few minutes now versus an hour and a half to 2.5 hours like it used to take me. Now I can live stream and not have craziness going on. The latency looks pretty good. That's kind of your lag. This is about to be a game changer for me. So one thing to mention before I finish wrapping everything up, I asked Waveform to send me their surge protection kit. So these are adapters that actually goes in line. Here's the cable that runs in the house, and it comes with these extra cables to run up to the antennas. But this adapter goes in line And these cables allows for you to attach a ground wire for lightning and surge protection. And then you run this wire down to the ground, to a grounding wire, or to your building's grounding system. One other thing worth showing, because it was mentioned so much by viewers, as you can see, I purchased and used that silicone self-sealing tape. It actually bonds to itself and makes a true watertight seal. You want to do that on all your connections. Now, some people, especially the purists for antenna stuff, are going to argue, hey, coiling your wires up and all like this can kill your signal. Putting surge arresters in can reduce some of your signal. Yes, that's very true. I'm not going to sit here and beat a dead horse with this thing. I'm already getting amazing internet download speeds and upload speeds. But I do want to mention I have everything kind of loosely zip tied up because, well, we're not done with this series. I have a whole nother style of antennas that I'll be installing by waveform at your request. A lot of y'all mentioned it. So today's video is an introduction to a different type of router, a 4x4 antenna setup. NetBuddy's awesome unlimited plans. I don't know how the heck they're doing it for the prices that they are. So I just want to let y'all know that we're just kind of loosely putting everything up until I find the final system that I'm going to stick with. All right, so one of the last things we'll test before wrapping this video up is Wi-Fi range. That's something that I have been so blown away with the other cellular router that I was using. I could literally go 800 feet out in that field before I would drop Wi-Fi signal. So I'm connected to Wi-Fi now. We'll go ahead and run a quick speed test right here on the porch. As you can see, it's already dropped down quite a bit, but that is still plenty adequate download. We'll see what the upload is. So if we want to stream music or whatever out here on the porch. There we go. 1 point, 2 point. It's climbing. Just under 5 megabits second upload. It's way up there in the attic, but that's where my other one is too. But majority of Wi-Fi routers tend to not reach far outside of a home. And that's very easily solved by using a $30 plug-in and outlet Wi-Fi extender, or if you really want to get serious about covering a yard, Ubiquity. Everybody recommends them. They make awesome systems. Now they're a little pricey, but if you really want to get the Wi-Fi out over your place. Now the direction in which you turn your router also varies. So I'm heading out north away from it. Let's go due west and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so check this out. I'm about 75 feet away. Look at this, 45 megs down, 50 megs down, but I am due west of the router. Look at the upload, 34, 35, 36. Excellent range, excellent download speeds. So it looks to be quite directional. That's really, really good. I would love to see it being more in a circular motion, but the way those antennas are up on the router itself, I have heard direction does matter. I've never tested that before, and it looks like that's 100% true. All right, so how do we want to wrap this video up? I think I can say I am elated. I've actually blown away by the results that I got. I didn't know what to expect on download, but I was not expecting that on upload. And I keep harping on that. I know that's not as important to a lot of people, but upload is important. While we're constantly downloading data, you're sending data back out too. But again, there's certain things, like I've mentioned, for all of us work from home people, that upload is really critical. But with that said, download in the high 70s, pushing to 80s, over cellular, that's awesome. You can do just about anything that you want to do with that. So don't forget NetBuddy. I'll put all their information down in the description if you want to go check out their routers and their plans. Unlimited T-Mobile for 40 bucks a month. I just don't know how you beat that going anywhere else. And then unlimited AT&T and Verizon, if that happens to be what services your area better, for $70 a month. Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, the unlimited truly isn't unlimited. I don't know. I haven't hit any sort of soft caps or hard caps or anything like that. I haven't seen any throttling or major slowbacks. Your results are going to vary. I can't tell people this enough. I see people commenting all the time, hey, I got some stuff in and I'm doing better than you did, or I'm doing worse than you did. you're not running off the same cellular towers. I mean, you may be dealing with different network congestions and things like that. This is an alternative right here for those of us that have no fiber, no DSL available, or that stayed on the Starlink waiting list forever and just kept getting delay notice after delay notice like I did. And now look at this. I'm so glad I didn't go with the RV plan from Starlink, which is lower priority, by the way. They do prioritize, just like cellular does. And what is it, $135 a month? So now it's looking like for $39.99 a month, I can have similar internet. Sure, I hear some of y'all getting 100 plus on download to Starlink. Man, I'm getting close to 80 down and 80 up. Who cares? $39.99 a month versus $135. I am so thrilled with this option. Now, y'all keep in mind, whenever you stream video over all these cellular and data plans, typically they make you stream at a lower quality, a lower HD quality. There's something called a VPN. If you'll look that up on the internet, a lot of people use those, and guess what? Well, now you can, if you do that process of a VPN with these cellular routers, now you can watch 4K and do whatever the heck you want. So research that. I don't know enough on it to get into it. Personally, I could care less about 4K streaming and all that other stuff. If we're streaming in HD, we're as happy as can be. And with what I'm seeing here now, we can run multiple phones, multiple TVs, security cameras, everything else, and shouldn't have a single issue at all. As far as the weaker Wi-Fi that you get on devices like this, sometimes they're strong, sometimes they're not. Again, a little $30 Wi-Fi repeater, stick a couple at each end of your house, and you'll cover outside your home, inside. All that stuff is very easily managed. So which route you go? I'd say spend the extra and go with their flagship 5G model. I'm seeing major increases in speed with it. It just feels better quality built. I think you're getting more for your money there. With that said, I'm still seeing pretty good speeds out of, say, that Cuddy, for example. Okay, well, hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you, NetBuddy, for sending this stuff out and allowing me to test it. Thank you, Waveform, for sending out these antennas. Y'all, don't forget, that's a huge part of these cellular routers that we're testing right now, the ability to add antennas. You've seen that even just doing a 2x2 antenna gives me a major increase, and then going 4x4, just a dramatic increase, especially on the upload portion. So those external antennas are key. Now, I'm not saying you won't get one of these routers in, put it on your tabletop, and it worked perfect without any external antennas. That's very possible. Again, how far away are your towers, what's going on in your area with your cell towers. But with that said, make sure you get a router that is set up and able to add external antennas should you not get the results that you want, because amplified external antennas is kind of the key to this system. I think it's a no-brainer and something you should do. Yes, there's some install with it, but every time I have hooked up a router to external antennas, it's just leaps and bounds better on download and especially on upload. And I asked Waveform to send out one of their big single panel antennas, which is a 4x4 setup, but we're gonna test a completely different style antenna that we've never tested on here before. It's supposed to be easier to aim and set up, although not as powerful as what we just used, but because it tends to collect differently, sometimes you see better results with that antenna. So we have all that coming up as well. So have no fear, we're covering far more in this series. We're going to try to get you the information that you're looking for. All right, this video has been long enough. Don't forget, everything is down in the description if you want to go check out the plans and equipment that you've seen today. Catch you on the next video.